Hey, did you know it's actually good to be fake? Usually, when we think about things being fake, it doesn't give us warm, fuzzy vibes. There are a lot of important things out there that you don't want to be fake, like that engagement ring really should not be fake. The food that we eat should not be fake if you want to be healthy. Most certainly, that job that you just applied for better not be fake either. So generally, when we think of something that is fake, it's not a good thing. Today, I want to talk about 3 ways that being fake can actually make you a better software developer now and for the rest of your career. Hey, junior devs, Dev Mentor Dave here, helping you bridge the gap from learning to code to launching a successful career. Maybe you are feeling fake sometimes. And if you are, I'd love to hear maybe some of the scenarios that you find yourself in that you are being fake, or maybe some other people that you've worked with that are being fake, maybe some not good ways, or maybe some good ideas. What are some ways that you think being fake can be beneficial to you as a software developer? Go ahead and put those down in the comments below before we get into my 3 ways that being fake can be helpful. So I guess we have to really start with the question, what in the world do I mean by being fake? Well, I'll be honest, I'm kind of using that term a little bit out of context. Really, what I'm referring to is something that's known in the industry as imposter syndrome. When we think of an imposter, we think of somebody who is fake. They're claiming to be somebody that they are not. They're claiming to have skills that they do not have as a developer or as anything else, really. That's what an imposter is. So, how can being an imposter or being fake be something that is beneficial to us as software developers? Well, I think you need to realize that most of the time, if you are feeling imposter syndrome, um, it's probably not true. In fact, most people that I've worked with as developers, I never would have guessed they struggled with imposter syndrome, and yet many of them did. And not just junior developers, but mid, senior, and even lead developers at times feel like they are imposters in the role that they're in. As a lead developer, sometimes I feel like an imposter when I'm dealing with a specific situation with a client or with another developer in that leadership role. I may feel like I don't have adequate training and I don't have all the tools that I need really to do the job. And I begin to get this imposter syndrome. I begin to feel like I'm kind of a fake. But I think there are 3 ways that being fake as software developers, not in the real sense, but in the imposter syndrome sense, can actually help us improve our careers and keep us improving our careers for years and years and years to come. Quite a few years ago, I was working in a fairly large team of developers. We had probably 8 or 9 developers on this team, and I was actually a lead of that team at the time. And we had different developers. We had developers all the way from mid 20s up into their 50s. Actually, we had one developer on that team who was in his 70s that we hired. So if you think getting into software is too late for you, there's still hope. But we had this team, and it was a very diverse team, lots of different people from different backgrounds and experiences and levels of experience. But we did have this one developer who he was kind of set in his ways, and it wasn't the 70-year-old, but he had been a developer for many years, and he just did things the way that he wanted to do it, and he was not really into learning some of the new stuff that we wanted to put into the application, or new ways that we wanted to write our code, some of the new requirements that we had, the new standards that we wanted to implement. He was not about any of that stuff. And to be honest with you, he really didn't last very long as a developer on that team. See, he had reached a point in his career where he'd pretty much achieved everything that he was looking to achieve, and he was just collecting a paycheck. And so in his mind, there was no fakeness. He was the real deal. He was good to go. He had everything that he needed to have. He knew exactly what he was doing. But the problem with that is he was kind of stuck where he was. He was not improving his skill set. He was not growing his skill set. He was not getting better with age, like fine wine, he was getting more and more sour, and it actually got sour in his attitude at some points, as we wanted to move in different directions. So because he was not thinking of himself as fake, because he didn't have imposter syndrome, he didn't have anything really driving him to be better, to grow more. And that's the first thing that being fake can really help you with. If you're dealing with imposter syndrome, it's a good thing because it will keep you hungry. It will keep you desiring to grow and change and learn. And that's something that we have to have as developers. Everything is changing so quickly all the time. We really have to be people who feel like we're fake, who feel like we don't have everything that we need to have, so that we are motivated to go out there and learn more, so that we are motivated in the evening recesses of the night to actually spend some time learning something new and adding to our skill set. We need that motivation, and being fake or imposter syndrome actually gives us that motivation by keeping us hungry. I know as a junior dev, a lot of times, especially when you're interacting with senior devs, um, you have a lot of questions. And I actually have a video dealing with things that you need to do so that senior developers are not angry at you, and how you ask those questions. But sometimes you have questions, and when you get the answer, maybe you find out, man, that was kind of a dumb question. I probably should have known that. Maybe if I'd have thought through that a little bit more, I would have come to that solution. But sometimes we just ask dumb questions. Even as a lead developer, sometimes I just ask some of the dumbest questions that if I'd have just really sat and thought through the process a little bit more, I probably would have come to the right solution. But I just reached a point where I was like, I don't know the answer and I need to get help. And that's the second way that being fake or having imposter syndrome can actually help you. See, not only does it keep you hungry, but it also keeps you humble. Being hungry means you have a desire to learn. Being humble means you're teachable, means you'll actually learn the things, means you'll actually ask that dumb question, that frustrating question. You'll actually go and get the help that you need. Yes, are there things that you should just know and really you've got to get it down at some point? Absolutely. You definitely have to grow. You need to be hungry and growing, but you also need to be humble. You need to realize I have not made it. I do not know everything that I need to know. And when I get stuck, I don't just move on and do something else, but I ask for help. That's one of the hardest things that a lot of developers tend to not do when they need to do it, is ask for help. We oftentimes spend too much time spinning our wheels trying to figure things out because we're too proud. We think that we should know something when maybe we shouldn't. And if we really came back to this idea of being fake or that imposter syndrome, if we have that, that's going to make us much more willing to humble ourselves and go ask for help. I have a developer friend who tells a story of a time that I asked him for help, and I didn't know it at the time, but he was actually a junior developer and I had been a developer for quite a few years at that point, but I was just stuck on something and I felt like I knew there was something that I should know about it, but it just wasn't coming to me. And I don't know that it was imposter syndrome, but that helps keep me humble. And so I was able to go and ask this person for help. And he was shocked that I was asking him for help because he's a junior developer at this point in time. And I was a senior developer. And he didn't know what in the world he could do, but he actually helped me. He helped me see something that I was missing. And I never probably would have gotten there, wouldn't have gotten it anytime soon because I had already spent a lot of time, again, due to pride, I'd already spent a lot of time trying to figure out the solution on my own end and I couldn't see it. And I just needed a second pair of eyes. And so keeping us humble to go and ask for help, to get answers to the questions that we have, that's one of the benefits of being fake. I've had the experience to work with a lot of developers, and to be honest with you, a lot of developers I've always felt were pretty much at the same level as me. But once in a while, you just run across a developer that has massive skills and ability and knowledge in a specific area. And you can almost just be like, wow, this guy is amazing, or this lady is amazing. This person they just have so much knowledge. But unfortunately, sometimes they know that too. And they can be really unapproachable. In fact, I had a guy at a job once who like he did a lunch and learn on a specific aspect of this coding language, and I was just like, man, I never even knew anything about that. And he just talked about it like it was, a piece of cake to him. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to use that in the real world and all this stuff. And yet when he was just working, he didn't have that vibe of approachability. It was almost like he knew he was better than everybody else and he didn't have time for you. And that's the third thing that feeling like you're a fake or having this imposter syndrome really can help you with your career. And that is not just keeping you hungry, not just keeping you humble, but keeping you helpful. See, if we're not careful and we think that we have achieved something, sometimes we begin to put off an air of unapproachability. Sometimes other people, junior developers or even senior developers, have a hard time coming to people who really look like they've got everything together because they often don't act like they need anybody else or that they want to help anybody else. They don't tend to be people who build relationships and pursue helping other people. They're typically in their own little world and they're just doing their thing. And a lot of times they're just not helpful. But if you're somebody who feels like, you know what, I don't know everything, then when somebody else comes to you and says, I don't know everything either, you're the type of person who's going to help them because you understand where they're coming from. If you're the type of person that feels like you've got it all figured out, then if somebody doesn't understand something that you think is simple, you're probably not going to be as helpful as somebody who understands that they have a lot to learn still too. So if you want to stay hungry, if you want to stay humble, and if you want to be a helpful developer both now and for years to come, you kind of need to be a little fake. Hopefully this video has been a help to you and you don't feel like an imposter. But if you do feel like an imposter, use those things, use that feeling of being fake to help you make yourself a better developer. Let it help you keep you hungry, let it help you keep you humble, and let it help you make you somebody that is a helpful developer to others now and in the future. If you find this information helpful, I'd appreciate it if you'd click the like button. It helps YouTube know that people are finding this content helpful and it'll share it with other people in the days to come. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button so you'll be notified the next time we upload one of these videos. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll see you on the next one.